geluba naqdogliyo nugal waa ku darara melay nabadi joogta.
Welcome to Isirka. My name's Amina Isir, and join me as I take you on a journey to explore identity, culture, and belonging. Take a seat as I take you through time, space, and various perspectives of cultural identity. Stay tuned to see where the journey will take us today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Isirka. Manta, I just really wanted to, before I kind of get into this full episode, I really wanted to just reflect a little bit. I always say I want to reflect and then sheka kalaska gala. Lakin, I think my whole life I've always been very curious and observant of what the Somali experience looks like. There isn't too much that was written about us by us beforehand. You know, we're very much an oral society. We're very much people that have been uprooted due to conflict and state collapse. And I really always emphasize the state collapse lately because I wonder what that... lots of people have been through war, but the fact that we had a state collapse, that the government fell, and we are still trying to deal with the ramifications of that, still trying to kind of get back to neutral in some ways. As a people, Somaliland's an unrecognized state, so a lot of things there are not happening through government channels, for example, or international channels. The private sector really has kind of, in both the North and the South, the private sector really has kind of made up for a lot of that space as to what the government should offer in terms of infrastructure and resources to its citizens. And so in some ways, it's, there's a lot of innovation because of that. And, mobile money, for example, because the central banking system, I don't even know what the status of it's really to report on it, but because I don't know about the status of the central banking system. So that is one thing that's it's so convenient. Even when I was in Kenya, they had this thing where you could just order medications from the pharmacy and they would deliver it to you, and you didn't have to get a doctor's note. It was just kind of I appreciate the fact that there's literally there's ways to get your needs met. It's not through bureaucratic channels that have been vetted and everything like that. But I appreciate that exists. But that's not the point of this conversation or the point of this episode. But really, I've always been watching and observing. And so Isirka, this podcast, blog giwa kayara dale, but the blog I feel needs to come back. I really appreciate that blog as that space in Acadia, or to have a written paper trail of the things that I was talking about, seeing and experiencing. I appreciate a space to kind of have that there. This podcast now in this season of even what it's grown into, in some ways I'm so interesting that I've kind of turned into this being all about the music, but I think no, it makes sense. It suits what I've been doing anyways. And honestly, I only really enjoy, at this point, after doing in-person podcast conversations really are it. So doing things online won't match that same amount of energy, but this is a good kind of next step for exploration, and even kind of strengthening the ways in which I'm understanding things, what I'm seeing, and kind of what I would like to put out there in terms of content. Now I'm okay, I've spent a long time watching, collecting, and archiving in a way a lot of what I was seeing around Somali music, and now I would really like to do something with that, something tangible, produce something, at least put it all together. It was very meaningful for me as I was going alongside this journey, and I would just like one space or one entity to kind of give an out product of it all, or output of it all. So inshallah 2024, that's what I would like to do. Oh my god, it's already April. It's half the year. We're already close to half the year being done. It's the fastest year of my life. But anyway, so moving on, this episode I would like to bring back the Ragga Dambe series. Ragga Dambe, so Ragga Dambe was this concept that I put together I think maybe in the middle of lockdown, honestly. And, you know, Somalis waxay ku mahmahan rag waa ragii hore. And so basically, and you know, we don't know when the mahmas came to be, so I'm assuming like they mean the OGs, the nomads, the original OGs. And so I was looking and thinking, I mean, during the pandemic, I watched a lot of Khabar Keo. And if you know anything about me, or you paid any attention to this podcast thus far, or my Instagrams, I love Khabar Keo. I respect him as an artist. I love the fact that he's a young man, but he literally, like, before he went to Nairobi last year, he was always on point with his artistry, with his look. And he also shared a lot of his personal story. Like, he was somebody that was really, like, a very dedicated Somali artist in a day and time where we don't really see dedication. We don't see, like, Dad Nadif or Funka Kuchira, you know. And we don't see young people singing. We don't see people singing live, period. And so Khabar Keo was able to do that, and he's a performer. Now he's just a ham who's, like, obsessed with, like, attention. So he's been doing a lot of madness with his dancing. Like, I don't understand. It looks like he's, like, break dancing. Literally, while he's singing Qarami songs. But anyways, that's not the point of this episode. Ragga Dambe was basically focusing on some Somali male artists post independence, because, you know, music came to be like during decolonization. So post-independence, was Somalis are moving from traditionalism, from the nomadic way of life, to modernity, moving into the cities, becoming Reer Miguel, like, you know, kind of having this concept of nationalism. What does that look like? You know, I even read an article a couple weeks ago that was saying that during the 70s and the 80s, like, music across, like, when it comes to music on the African continent, Somalia was number one, because it was such a huge part of Dowlad's propaganda and their tool, you know, like, whereas music kind of died down post-independence for a lot of African nations, for Somalia, it was lit. And now, I had a really interesting conversation for this BBC4 produced documentary about music and censorship during Dolo di Siad Bare, and then and the role of art even during that time. And the person interviewing asked me about, like, now, like, you know, like, are Somalis still using music or art, like, in the same ways? And I'm like, no. And I think we've really the decentralization of us as Somali people is one thing, but I think also the fact that we don't have, like, a cultural production nucleus in the same way is also kind of, like, giving to that. Like, there's nothing, I don't think that there's much that keeps people in different corners of the Somali speaking world. There's not much that keeps them together if, like, you know, finan reer chichiga, like, finan, like that reer chichibu hesiya, finan to reer hergesa be hesiyan. You know, like, everyone has their own shab and their own people, and so at that point, what is really going to keep everybody together, despite their physical boundaries, the physical territories? We could always say, like, because I mean, I think now where I'm at with things is, like, really kind of thinking against this notion of, like, we are all one and we are all the same. I don't really think that's true. I think that during the last government, like, before the state collapse and war, civil war, a lot of that propaganda of we are all one, we are all the same, was purposefully done. Like, I really, like, was purposefully done to keep, so that the dictator could have more power over the people, and purposefully, like, and systematically, you know, negated people's differences in the name of this, like, we are all one narrative. So I say that all to say that this podcast, all of these things that I'm doing, is just kind of a way of sharing, like, my observations, my observations, thoughts, and my 10 cents always, as I'm learning, engaging, looking at things differently. And so with that, though, even though there are real territorial boundaries, I think, you know, the one thing that they do say is that fanaaniinta qabiil male, fanaaniinta Somali artists should be borderless. But I think that was an older like way of being, because these fanani in this day and age, they very much have a qabil. They will sing for their qabil. They will sing for their political territory. They like, you know what I mean? That doesn't exist as much. But outside of that, with Ragga Dambe really kind of focusing on Somali male artists and vulnerability. So this episode, I want to focus on Qamar Suugaani. And Qamar Suugaani, I wanted to do this a couple years ago, but it just didn't really work out. But now he has such an insane body of work. Outside of like the lahans that he does for other people, it's also really like cool to see how his artistry has changed. Because at some points he was like way out in the fray doing funky things. And I have to say personally, I think I really like his earlier songs. Even when I did that mix, episode 1 of season 5 of Isirka, I like had those songs because they were like his like earlier songs. But this episode will be an opportunity or a way to include a little bit more of his artistry. I have to shout out my good sis Ayan. She hooked me up with a Qamar Suugaani playlist that is like over 30 songs. I didn't even know he did that many songs. And despite like his personal drama, and not in like his relationships, but even like his drama with just like being able to come in and out of Hargeisa and Somaliland and all of that kind of stuff, there was a point where I think he was in Kenya and he couldn't come back to Hargeisa, and he was broke. And Fateh Absiya was like, if he was a mainstream artist that, you know, that was like any ethnicity, he would be so wealthy and so well taken care of. It's like really unfortunate that Somalis really don't value musicians in a way that will change their lives in a tangible way. Like the artist could be very qali to the people or be very valuable to the people in an intangible way, but their quality of life doesn't reflect the influence that they've had on people. And, you know, during Dawladi Hore, like Dawladi Siyad Bare, Fananinta, they used to live right next to the theater. They had, in Mogadishu, they had like a special residency. It's like a big arch right next to the National Theater. And so a lot of people still live there to this day. But that's Mogadishu. The other cities don't really have things like that. I think, you know, like the government might give people some things. Like the government of Djibouti gave Hassan Aden Samatara house. So now he lives in Djibouti, for example. But he's not from Djibouti, and he chose to live in Djibouti, you know, like after he lived in the West and things like that. So if there's one thing that I would like to see, like the hal, like Alagataga is like a Somali artists fund that really could be available to artists, and whether that's like done by like crowd like raising or fundraising. It shouldn't always get to a point markuu xaaladiisa aad ay u liidataa that markaas uun baa loo like gurmada, or like, you know, then they raise money for them because they're like physically doing very bad and they're very sick. Like it should be like now while they're young and they're like still okay that they can have enough money to go about their lives and, you know, be good and be taken care of and be appreciated in that way, and then also be able to produce more music for us, you know, like it would be, I understand how we view artists and all of the things that come with it, but at the same time, Somali music is the one thing that we do have that will, despite what I said earlier, bring us all together, give a space for any single Somali person, regardless of where they are in the world, to enjoy, to listen to dance to. You know, we'll always need wedding songs, if not anything else. And I don't think the Wadani songs for each and every single political state will never go out of style. So we should really put a lot of more respect and energy towards appreciating our artists while we have them. And so that was all of my 10 cents for right now. So we'll continue this Ragga Dambe episode with Qamar Suugaani, and we'll just kind of let his music do his thing. I hope you all enjoy this episode.
قال لي دبيري شوي قال لي قام هريني قل له وجيري عوضي جمال كاقائد قاي أجيرك يحبنا هاي تري أماركات تشوك سيارة دغبدي جمال كاقائد قاي أجيرك يحبنا هاي تري مركاد تشوك سيارة دغبدي جمال كاقائد قاي أجيرك يحبنا هاي تري أماركات تشوك سيارة دغبدي جمال كاقائد قاي بنا هاي تري مركاد تشيرا دغبدي قلبي قدينا عاق تشوقا وحبا سوتشي ذنايا جوابنا وحائد غدا عذو شمشو عوديا ولي بقيلة تشيلا شعيلكا ولي بقيلة تشيلا شعيلكا قلبي قدينا عاق تشوقا وحباها سوتشي ذنايا جوابنا وحائد غدا عذو شمشو عوديا ولي بقيلة تشيلا شعيلكا ولي بقيلة تشيلا شعيلكا شندا إفكوا أكتادا شليا عدد دايما دادو شليو إيقو في النفاعي شندا إفكوا أكتادا شليا عدد دايما دادو شليو إيقو في النفاعي جيبا الراعي أقارن كاغا إلى الشاري شعيل كاغا إدقاي شنكا جيبا الراعي أقارن كاغا إلى الشاري شعيل كاغا إدقاي شنكا جيبا الراعي أقارن كاغا إلى الشاري انشر لغا دوري ودناها حبيغان كوارا بنشرين قفبان هلاي حفيدا قفبان هلاي حفيدا
Rafid Boss Production.
انشر لغا دوري ودناها حبيغان كوارا بنشرين قفبان هلاي حفيدا قفبان هلاي حفيدا لداف اللي أتكان نحن انت فرح بك وحيلي عكا قلبي يحسلي وكا قلبي يحسلي لداف اللي أتكان نحن انت فرح بك وحيلي وكا قلبي يحسلي وكا قلبي يحسلي حنتنا كويت على وشك حاسكيغي حفلة مهركنا إيو عينو دويا هاي حسكي حدقين نسيقين لودي حنتنا كويت على وشك حاسكيغي حفلة مهركنا إيو عينو دويا هاي حسكي حدقين نسيقين لودي
Rafid Boss Production.
قلبي حردي صواح عن عشقان كحنان جري حلبان هلا دور تنول الحلبان هلا دور تنول قلبي حردي صواح عن عشقان كحنان جري حلبان هلا دور تنول الحلبان هلا دور تنول حدد لبادي لها اللي وقتك حيري أو وكا حبك هرقلي وكا حبك هرقلي حدد لبادي لحالي لو وقتك حيرا وكا حبك هرقلي وكا حبك هرقلي.
All right, so those first two songs in this Qamar Suugaani mix were a couple of his earlier songs. So Qamar, like, Funkisa really, like, can be measured by, like, kind of what was going on in his life at this time, at a particular time. So these two songs were before Naseem. But I think actually this Hantin Kui Cha'la is when he kind of introduced that he was getting married to somebody new. Or I think when he married her. Because we saw him with Ugbad Araksan, and they were together, they were a couple. Then so he was with Naseem for a couple of years. And I think that Hantin Akuichala came out from that era. But anyways, Qamar's earlier songs, I have to say in retrospect and putting together this episode, I really, 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 really enjoyed his earlier songs. Like even when he came out, literally, like, amazing. He just came out of nowhere, really killed the game. Qamar Suugaani is the original lover boy, the epitome of the lover boy. When I did this first episode of season 5 of Isirka about Qalama Chailka, Qamar Suugaani was in there like swimwear because reerku ka dhashay waa reerka ka dhalalay. And I mean, not even because of that, but because he's the epitome of a lover boy, okay? And so moving forward, I really love this next song. I don't know, like for some reason, it really, like the first time I heard it a couple years ago, it really has stuck with me. And I feel like I don't really go out of my way to listen to too many finans. Like I have the particular ones that I like and I stick with them. So there is a major there's like a major point, like especially during the pandemic, where I stopped listening to Qamar Suugaani like that. Before lockdown, I used to listen to him. And so this song was one of his newer ones. And he really, like, I know I said earlier that I was going to do a Qamar Suugaani episode beforehand, and really the creativity coming from this man. And it's also like been amazing to see his glow up through time, not physical glow up, but just like how he's evolved as a human being. He came out singing like very, very strong love songs, you know, typical like Somali man stuff. Somali music, you know, are usually love songs comparing a woman to nature. But he's been, as he's grown through his different relationships, you see like different sides of him come out and different ways in which he's evolved in each relationship. And his creativity changed a lot when he was with Naseem too. A lot of the songs that came out during that time, I think honestly a lot of songs in this mix are probably the songs that came out when he was with Naseem. And but they just really, like, I don't know, I really like them, you know? I really like the songs that he came out with around the time when he was with Naseem. They're really great songs. And I think I'm even going to end the episode with one of them. And I also really, at the end of this episode, the last few songs are also Talantalis, or Hesu Luqado Dumarka. And him and Deqs and Abdi Nasser Ma'alan Aidid, those two, like, they always, I think style-wise and kind of, they match each other. Since the beginning, they've sang really good love songs together. So I like that. And so the next few songs after that are straight love songs. And then I'll come back after oh my god. I really am enjoying this episode. Wallahi, I should have done this a long time ago.
adiga fog tahay wanaagun la dabdado adai soo bidra waqtiga adiga fog tahay wanaagun la dabdado adai soo bidra waqtiga adiga fog tahay wanaagun la dabdado adai soo bidra waqtiga aad iga fog tahay wanaagu malado hurdada oo adaa ii soo wirdira awcadayd warkaan indhuhu qalbiga warabba ka go'a wadnaha xiisa gilgila naftana wahabba ka kaca ana adigu weyntaho ana adigay kula jecel awcadayd warkaan indhuhu qalbiga warabba ka go'a wadnaha xiisa gilgila naftana wahabba ka kaca ana adigu weyntaho ana adigay kula jecel wadada loo mara qalbiga adaa hore xidhe naftayda ku weynida waxyuu ku oomana wadada loo mara qalbiga adaa hore xidhe naftayda ku weynida waxyuu ku oomana wuxuu waraa xubbigu markay labooda jiraan wadagtay ila dhadhami wuxuu waraa xubbigu markay labooda jiraan wadagtay ila dhadhami wuxuu waraa xubbigu markay labooda jiraan wadagtay ila dhadhami wuxuu waraa xubbigu markay labooda jiraan wadagtay ila dhadhami awcadayd warkaan indhuhu qalbiga warabba ka go'a wadnaha xiisa gilgila naftana wahabba ka kaca ana adigu weyntaho ana adigay kula jecel jacaylka macaan ku siiyo haddii lama sayri waayo wanagiyo muxibadeena haddii lama jiro waayo jacaylka macaan ku siiyo haddii lama sayri waayo wanagiyo muxibadeena haddii lama jiro waayo dunida magacaada ku leeday haddaan kula muuji waayo meesana kula raadi waayo waxaanahay muuqudhaa dunida magacaada ku leeday haddaan kula muuji waayo meesana kula raadi waayo waxaanahay muuqudhaa nolosha maalintana midowno meherka u daabaaldegeena haddaan lama sugi waayin qof baanu ku dhex jirin martayda nolosha maalintana midowno meherka u daabaaldegeena haddaan lama sugi waayin qof baanu ku dhex jirin martayda nolosha maalintana midowno meherka u daabaaldegeena haddaan lama sugi waayin qof baanu ku dhex jirin martayda dhaguhu ruux kale dhegaysani waa qayuhu bashar kale ku dhaygagi waa digaa admiga koldheehani waa qoraxda dhalatana kuwaga dhigi waa dhaguhu ruux kale dhegaysani waa qayuhu bashar kale ku dhaygagi waa digaa admiga koldheehani waa qoraxda dhalatana ku aagdhigi waa afkii duniga dararuni wa hurdana dabarkii tulkii qabuwa ibnuhu erdilan marlaydiwa aman kudigan hiskii disiwa yabel qurxla yadmayn kariwa afkii duniga dararuni wa hurdana dabarkii tulkii qabuwa ibnuhu erdilan damaydiwa aman kudigan iskii disiwa yabel qurxla yadmayn kariwa abka durmaya biga dimiwa kalsoonida dheer la dhiibi kariwa dhaxdeena naami kadef heliwa idowr mooye idaflewa jacayl dhaxalgala waxdhaamalawa jacayl dhaxalgala waxdhaamalawa abka durmaya biga dimiwa kalsoonida dheer la dhiibi kariwa dhaxdeena naami kadef heliwa aydow mooye idaflewa jacayl dhaxalgala waxdhaamalawa jacayl dhaxalgala waxdhaamalawa sidii baad ku xanayshay sidii waalid ku wadiyay sidii boqor ku amaanay sidii boqorna ku amaanay sidii baad ku xanayshay sidii waalid ku wadiyay sidii boqor ku amaanay sidii boqorna ku amaanay markuu saxar galo ishadawba cilmiyadun dareemin adduunyada meel la joogo agitaada ugu wanaagsan markuu saxar galo ishara galo cilmiyadun dareemin markan aragaaga waayo ololay sida arkarima urkan kugu qoray bogayga dhammaan ilaha jirkayga ku sii nafteeda ilaasho urkan kugu qoray bogayga dhammaan ilaha jirkayga ku sii nafteeda ilaasho waswaas kalinima dibkeed markaan wehdeen lurmeen u barya weyna hasi weyn wadadii raysigeen maraan warshadii farxadiiyo libtaan waswaas kalinima dibkeed markaan wehdeen lurmeen u barya weyna hasi weyn wadadii raysigeen maraan warshadii farxadiiyo libtaan wadaaga cashaqana simay wuxuu samaray duruu adaa ka warbixin karo kuwa kiilatee waxaan midyaha kasi midyaha kutur nacabkeena waran kubadi weedhaha kulkulul kuqosol hago ee wadnuhu kuwa jeesido kuwiirsa kuwaanoga kutur nacabkeena waran kubadi weedhaha kulkulul kuqosol hago ee wadnuhu kuwa jeesido kuwiirsa kuwaanoga kuwiirsa kuwaanoga waqti iyo nasiib dhowro wardiyo samree markuu waayihii libdhalay wacnaantan sugan helay waaxitan kuma hadiyaan dhaxaan waqti iyo nasiib dhowro wardiyo samree markuu waayihii libdhalay wacnaantan sugan helay waaxitan kuma hadiyaan adaan warwartira dartaa asaxiyo wow idhi kuntee markaad wadna ladhatimo dadkana kaawe heshadee weldan baan ku idhi weldan baan ku idhi.
There was a point in time where I used to like R&B songs and love songs and slower songs. And now I think I'm just a little bit too ADD-ish for it. And I think, honestly, that's why I like all these Qamar Suugaani songs. This last one, Lahanka, is like literally 10-10. And he's like, well done, Abang Kuyiri. Wallahi, I don't even know who he's saying well done to, for what reason, but I appreciate the support. So I'm going to have the song list anyways in the episode description. But I actually made a mistake. So earlier when I said... Ana Wili Kuchal, I love that song. That was the song after I spoke last time. And then I said a lot of the songs that were coming up next were from when he was with Naseem. But I guess Nolosha Maritan Midone, he literally dropped when he was in Nairobi a couple weeks ago. So that's brand new 2024. Like King Lover Boy Qamar, it like continues. Cha'al Dahal Gala Wahdami Lawa was his and Marwidi back then. His Pandemic Love, Naseem Buqade, that song literally like never gets old. And then next we're going to go into the Talantali songs. So it's him with Habon Noura, which is a new song to me. It was in Ayan's playlist and I was like, okay. Habon Noura, not really like, she's definitely very hot at the moment. And then he did the song with Najma Nashad a couple years ago. And I think, honestly, for me, with Qamar, it's lahamha. Like, if the lahan is, like, popping, if it's, like, upbeat, and, like, that combined with, like, his voice, like, that's what does it for me. So I love this Qamar Suugaani and Najma Nashad song. The lahan is very different. It's a bit spicy. The music video itself is also, I mean, my girl's wearing jeans and a t-shirt, okay? She had braids in, like, it was all a bit different. And then we have two songs with Dexon. One is the first one. I think I am absolutely in love with that song. I don't know. And then Hesti Naseem Buqadi. There's another Naseem song. So that one, I think I literally remember listening to that song all the time. And I just thought it was just so well put how he spoke about her. Even though obviously it wasn't sustainable. It's just what existed in the moment. But, you know, we're here for a good time, not a long time. And then waxa kala ku daraya heestan kale. That was for Naseem. And it's called Nafta Kubihin Laha.
And then I'm going to end this mix. Qamar Suugaani, I think hadal keegi ba ka dheeraa. Like he said, like this might be a very long episode, but I know y'all will all enjoy it as much as I did. And then I'm going to end off with Khalid Kayo and Qamar Suugaani Sahib. They did that song in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. Markab bilabe. Actually, no. That's actually when I started this podcast, was 2020. So, but I started Ragga Dambe. The inspiration behind Ragga Dambe was Khalid Kayo. And so Qamar Suugaani obviously is the epitome of Ragga Dambe, okay? Everything that Somali men should not be, he is, and we're all so much better for it. And I should say that in terms of like I saw this interview with Hadrawi, and he was saying that when he was younger, he was 4 years old, he was a gil chire, and wu oy mar, I forgot what had died, and they told him nin ba tahay o ha oyin at 4 years old. So imagine what they would say about this man today. Mohammed Wardi Qamar Suugaani. Every couple of, like, it's literally like a TV show, his relationship, but his relationship history, like, he, like, funky sinahawara.
كافيتساني بالعالم هالكي وحير كافوغاتا كشان واركين فالل كشان واركين فالل كافيتساني بالعالم هالكي وحير كافوغاتا كشان واركين فالل كشان واركين فالل فرصتك مهمسن ما أرى فرجك ونكسن ما ربو فرحدانك هيسن إيمانك وفانا قالي سني فرالك ودعيسنو اسمه وحباك في عم فرصتك مهمسن ما أرى فرجك ونكسن ربو فرحدانك هيسن إيمانك وفانا قالي سني فرالك ودعيسنو اسمه وحباك في عم دورا بدشان كايغن جيري ادون بان انتا ويلاشن جيري وادان اندها كل راعي جيري وادان اندها كل راعي جيري دورا بدشان كايغن جيري ادون بان انتا ويلاشن جيري وادان اندها كل راعي جيري وادان اندها كل راعي جيري اني غوا ادان kugumiri jiray ora kugu haboon aan raadin jiray oo aanin badan ku ooy jiray adigaanin badan ku ooy jiray aniguba adan kugumiri jiray ora kugu haboon aan raadin jiray oo aanin badan ku ooy jiray adigaanin badan ku ooy jiray سمرين كامسنا اللبا اوغا سيديا نقدي سمو اوغدينان اسكو جعلهاي سمو اوغدينان اسكو جعلهاي يا حانتا ابيكا سوغو ان اديغو تيرا انو اونغبي سمو اوغدينان بكادنا سمو اوغدينان بكادنا انتي ان سمرين كامسنا اللبا اوغا سيديا نقدي سمو اوغدينان اسكو جعلهاي sumu ogidina iska ku jeclahay نسين كباها حسكاي نسين كهيب حوكف كيغا إدا في ساعة نسين كلمة ذهن كاي نسين كباها حسكاي نسين كهيب حوكف كيغا إدا في ساعة كم كبا واحد مركنو لحد إيكو طلعيق وحيو عدهن كليكا چنتو مكرو قلبي غاني متكالي كونكبا واحد مركنو لحد إيكو طلعيقو حلو عادهن كليكا چنتو مكرو قلبي غاني متكالي إنان كلن كوغو برتنا نصيبك أديغي إيو كريمكا مهدسكالي كشنا ويكو أغتاحي inaan kulan kugu bartana nasiibka adeega iyo karimka mahad iska leeyahay kashuna way ku ogtahay تدكي فرحدين هلاي مسين تلقى عيل دباي كل كشعدك تو كفي عنتي قلبي تدكي فرحدين هلاي مسين تلقى عيل دباي كل كشعدك تو كفي عنتي قلبي حتى كربيا معان وحن كاغتولي بالله بعدين تبورة كوكوان بدن كاغا ديغي لها حدن كاربيو معان وحن كاغا تولي بلادو بعد انت بورة كقبان وبهذي حدا تدا نفتان كوبي لها بودي اللي بدي دويل أيام كوبان وبهذي حدا تدا نفتان كوبي لها بودي اللي بدي دويل أيام كوبان inaad tagta beerka iyo waguba waa meel sokee busbaankaasi lahaa qalbiga basharkuugu jecel inaad tagta beerka iyo waguba waa meel sokee busbaankaasi lahaa qalbiga basharkuugu jecel
فراها قرصدي ونها قف شوفرها ونها قف شوفرها قرصدي انتكم من بعض وقال سنتو هذا قنت راسكو قاتبكو ونها قف شوفرها ونها قف شوفرها قرصدي ونها قف شوفرها ونها قف شوفرها قرصدي
دوي قرحنا دو حد واقعيو قلبي جاي مسين قفتلو كان المقال وفانا جاي
هذا قلب قصي قشف حبي في قارب جرقه في موشي الماضي لغوري قصوي شعي
حبلها قرني قادو قوريشته سنها قرنية عندها قلن كالي قعدان أفكيسو أسوسو أحسه إما قادم حبلها قرني قادو قوريشته سنها قرنية عندها قلن كالي قعدان أفكيسو أسوسو أحسه إما قادم
وحنكو قبا ما قيحي كرو
يا ديقسن
حتى قيح أنا ما قارن كريو
يا ديقسن
مركب قصي شابا من الباقي قبولا
يا ديقسن وحنكو قبا ما قيحي كرو
يا قمر
حتى قيح أنا ما قارن كريو
يا وردي
مركب قصي شابا من الباقي قبولا
يا وردي وحنكو قبا ما قيحي كرو يا قمر
حتى قيح أنا ما قارن كريو يا ديقسن
مركب قصي شابا من الباقي قبولا يا وردي
مركب قصي شابا من الباقي قبولا
صاحب وجهدنا عرفتي ذا ودكتن قول كل أقاسمة أبدوا لدورتا قول كل أقاسمة أبدوا لدورتا صاحب وجهدنا عرفتي ذا ودكتن قول كل أقاسمة أبدوا لدورتا كل أقاسمة أبدو على دورتا أبكى أديك أنفرن صاحب أقيكرا وركيو سربيبا سيدكو أهذا أنا لو إلاشا سيدكو أهذا أنا لو إلاشا فرحة كل أبابولا لما ترى أبالكي فرحة كل أبابولا لما ترى أبالكي صاحب كل بأقل قالت كاغا آمسين أرحنكو دفاع قلا أقبلكين وحوجيا والو وغادا أقبلكين وحوجيا والو وغادا صاحب كل بأقل قالت كاغا آمسين أرحنكو دفاع قلا أقبلكين وحوجيا
kala naqrono meel wana